So we're a little bit past the midway point of the NBA regular season, and let's talk about the MVP race because we got some amazing things going on. Obviously, Jokic averaging over 30 points, averaging a triple double, leading the Nuggets to the fourth spot in the Western Conference with a roster that wasn't looking really good, in my opinion. They had a weak bench, but Westbrook has been playing really well next to him. They just got Aaron Gordon back. I know they got blown out against Minnesota today. That is going to happen. You're going to have games where you just don't have it and teams just outplay you. But Denver will be fine. They were, I think, just on a 4-game winning streak. Then you have SGA. I mean, can you say enough about the guy? The mid-range game that he has, his bag. What I love about SGA is his ability to get to the rim, but he doesn't always use his speed. He's very deceptive. He'll look like he'll play a slow pace, and then he'll blow right by you. And I love the change of pace that SGA plays because you don't know what to expect as a defender. You're like, okay, I got to cut off this lane, but then obviously SGA still finds a way to get to a spot night in and night out. I mean, you can send double teams at him, you can blitz him, but SGA is so smart and deceptive. You don't know what to expect from him. So I respect that from him. I know he's shooting 34% from three, but he doesn't rely on the three-point shot. He can get the mid-range game constantly. He draws free throws, and he gets to the line a lot as well. So when I look at SGA, dealing with the circumstances, losing Chet at the beginning of the season. He's been out for a while. They did say last week from the Thunder he'll be reevaluated in 8 to 10 weeks. So you're looking at March of when Chet will be back, and maybe by the end of March. Then you have Jokic, again, dealing with kind of a new roster. Westbrook came in. He's playing really well next to Jokic. He looks like he is rejuvenated, and he's doing great next to him. But at the same time, Aaron Gordon, I think he just recently got back. I know he has some injuries to deal with. And you got to deal with a bench who has to, build some chemistry. And it did look good early on, but Denver has slowly picked it up. And we'll see if they can get another piece. I would love to see Denver maybe get a Zach LaVine on this roster because I think that will unlock this offense even more and take the pressure off guys like Jamal Murray and Jokic where they have to show up night in and night out. Because Murray, he's not always consistent. Now, we know in the playoffs he does ramp it up. But right now, I like to see him add more offensive firepower just to have somebody out there next to Murray and Jokic. So if they get LaVine, Denver's going to be a major problem in the Western Conference. Another guy I don't want to forget off this list is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's improved his mid-range shooting. The Bucks are on a winning streak again, and they're playing good basketball. They started off really slow. They were looking really bad early on, but they have turned it around. Obviously, they won the NBA Cup. Dame looks more comfortable this year. He's playing really well next to Giannis. So I think Giannis does deserve him credit, but at the end of the day, when I'm looking at their race and just being objective here, I think it's a two-man race between Jokic and SGA. I think it's going to come down to those two guys because you're looking at what they have to overcome. You have OKC still the number one seed in the Western Conference. We'll see if they can hold that lead. I think they will. And SGA not relying on the three-point shot. That's just a big thing this year in the NBA where people are constantly taking threes. SGA doesn't do that a lot. He's able to get to a spot, and you can't stop him. And then you have Nikola Jokic. He's just playing in his own world. Like he's the best player in the NBA right now. And you can't say enough about Nikola Jokic. The man's been unbelievable for the Nuggets. And I think it's going to come down to these two guys. I think it's going to flip-flop week in and week out because Jokic is going to put some amazing numbers. He's going to have some really good wins. And you have SGA having some games. You're like, man, I think he had 54 points recently, a couple of days ago. And you're like, man, SGA should get it. So it's going to be a back and forth race. And I'm excited because these are two guys. I mean, they deserve all the flowers. I mean, you look at what they have to overcome, what they have to deal with, what you have to carry night in and out. You look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they don't have a lot of shot creators. They have streaky three-point shooters. So think about what SGA has to overcome. Like, you have guys out there, if they're not hitting their shot, and SGA is still giving you 35 a night, that's insane to me, especially when he's not a reliable three-point shooter. It's not being disrespectful, but for him to draw free throws, he's reliable. And he's able to get to his spots, even when teams are trying to blitz him or double him, just shows how good SGA is. Because when I watch him play, like I said, he's so deceptive. You don't know what he's going to do. He might blow right by you. He might, take a little jab and catch you off guard. He always finds a way to score on you. It's just so tough to deal with him because he's so shifty and you don't know what to do with him because he's going to find a way to draw fouls. He's really good at drawing contact. He's really good in the mid-range game and just get into his spots quicker than you. So I love that about him, and that deserves recognition because if you have streaky shooters who are not shooting well from three, their confidence is down, you got to carry the load. You don't have a lot of shot creators outside of just Jalen Williams. And, yeah, really that's it. Like, Jalen Williams is the only guy who can craft the dribble consistently. That's just amazing stuff. And then you have Jokic, obviously dealing with a new roster with Christian Brown getting a bigger role, Westbrook on there, Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson looked like a phenomenal defender, by the way. I love the way he can play defense out there. Really good at rim protecting, causing havoc. And I think they found something really special in Peyton Watson. I think he'll only get better for the Nuggets. So, yeah, you look at the adversity of these two rosters. I'm not saying Giannis doesn't have any adversity or Tatum doesn't have any, but there's levels to this. And these guys are just playing at a different level right now, in my opinion. Now, I just want to go over SGA's shooting splits, and we'll talk about Jokic's shooting splits. But some of the things that really stand out is less than 5 feet, SGA's shooting 70% from the floor. And then in the mid-range game, he's shooting over 50%. I mean, dude, what else can you say? And in less than 8 feet, he's shooting 65.5%. In the restricted area, he's at 72.7%. I mean, dude, my guy, imagine at the above the break for threes, they get better. He's at 34.7%. He gets at the 38, 39% next year. Good luck stopping this guy. And I don't think he needs to, work too much on that because he has so many other strengths that he should keep playing to that. Because imagine if you have a guy in SGA, obviously the 3-point shot is really important for the NBA, but if they're not hitting them and you're putting pressure on the defense where you're constantly scoring, then you put pressure on the best player for them to go back and score, but their shots are more difficult because they rely on the 3-point shot, aka Jayson Tatum. There are times where he likes to chuck threes and they don't go in. And that puts pressure on your offense because SGA is constantly scoring on the other end and getting better quality shots. So that might be an advantage to SGA. So you see with SGA here, the shooting is unbelievable. I mean, the field goal percentage is, you can't say enough about this guy. Shooting 53% overall from the field, 34.8% from three. That's respectable. That's still, I mean, league average is 35. So, 37. So he's not too far off. But as long as he continues to work on it, and again, I don't think he needs to make that a full part of his game because he has other strengths. But you see the shooting in the restricted area, like, bro, you're shooting 72.7%. Like, that's unbelievable stuff. So again, he's so hard to deal with. And 32, 5.3, 6 assists. He also has 2 steals and a block a game. So he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. SGA, if you want to stamp him as a top 5 player, I'm cool with it. I'm not there yet. Not yet, because I understand you got to do it more in the playoffs. But, I think by the end of the season, I'll have my top 5 because the dude has been – that's not a shot at SGA. I just need to see him do it, like, one more time in the playoffs, and that's it. But for now, like, bro, if he ends up winning MVP, it's like, yeah, you have no choice at that point. But, yeah, SGA is just unbelievable. And, bro, like, what he's doing for OKC and just what he has to overcome. Because we talk so much about – OKC's defense, we forget like their offense is still getting better and growing. And we know that, the shot creators, they don't have a lot of them on there. They have a lot of good defenders and spot up shooters and guys who can do other things, but they don't have a lot of guys who can craft the dribble. So for SGA to still average these numbers, despite, some limitations on their offense, it's just impressive stuff. And of course, Nikola Jokic, 30 points a night, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. The dude is averaging a triple-double. We'll see if he ends that way. But what I love about Jokic, look at this above the break three. Bro shooting 50% from above the break threes. That is insane stuff. That's where he shoots the most threes. Last year, he ended up at 37%. But my guy, you're just unreal. And then 66.8% in the restricted area, less than 8 feet, 60.9%. And again, like, I know SGA is shooting better from these areas, but bro is doing so many things out there. He's got to rebound the ball, make plays for his team, play make. And you just love to see his numbers just has gone up this year. 48% from three. And this race is going to be so tough because when you look at the overall landscape of the NBA and see where these teams end, let's look at the standings. With the West, the Nuggets are 4th. If they end up as a top 3 team, with everything Jokic has had to deal with, it's going to be hard to not give it to Jokic. I think the only way SGA ends up with this award is they continue to dominate Denver because they did have a really good win earlier this season. I think that's when Chet played, but Denver's better now. So if they end up, beating the Nuggets handily, or let's just say Jokic outperforms SGA, the voters are going to sway towards Jokic. That's why I'm excited for those games between Denver and OKC when they end up meeting in the regular season. I wonder when they play. I'm very curious about that because, that will be some must-watch basketball. So they play okay, so back to back. That's gonna be fun. Fun basketball here. You're in OKC, and I think they play again? I don't see it. So they're gonna be on the road, but man, these would be some fun games to watch. Especially like that moment where you have SGA getting his team for a win or Jokic. Like, I think these 2 games might determine MVP at this point, in my opinion. It just might. So, yeah, both players, shout out to SGA and Jokic. I don't wanna forget about Giannis. Giannis has been great. I know the Bucks are playing good basketball, but at the same time, I just think Jokic and SGA are just on 2 different stratospheres. People try to throw Tatum in there, but Tatum's been shooting poorly. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not gonna lie. He has not been shooting well from 3, and I think he takes too many threes. I think if he was playing more in the mid-range game and was taking more shots there, I think he would have a better case at his MVP, especially with all the rebounding and playmaking he does. But I don't know what it is. He doesn't take enough shots down there. I would love to see him shoot more post fadeaways from the mid range. Like, I was watching like the old Bulls and Jazz game today, and I saw how many times Michael Jordan was in the post shooting those fadeaway shots, and he was doing it constantly. So it'd be nice if Tatum did that more, but he doesn't. I love that SGA does because the man can go get you a bucket. And when Tatum is taking all these threes, it can be more difficult at times, especially those step back threes and those. It just gets annoying because you're 6'8", you got those broad shoulders. He didn't have those broad shoulders back, I think, his early career, and especially in the bubble, he was smaller, but he got stronger because he wanted to, and he doesn't use his strength enough, in my opinion. So that's how I feel. Again, no disrespect to Tatum, but at the end of the day, SJ and Jokic, man, they are just locked in for a fun race. And I think those games coming up in OKC could determine the MVP, and it'll be fun to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the MVP race. Do you think it's going to come down to SJ and Jokic? Do you think Giannis has a shot or Tatum has a shot? Love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.